Next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have another panel discussion on the topic, Unlock the Power of Insights and Curiosity. This discussion will dive deep into how curiosity-driven insights are shaping brand strategies and driving growth across industries. Our panelists bring a wealth of knowledge and diverse experiences. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm thrilled to introduce the person who's going to chair this session. We have Ms. Mrinil Mathur Rajwani, the Editor-in-Chief and Managing Partner at Samosa Network. With a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome her on stage. And now to our panelists for this session, we have Ms. Aparna Tadikonda, the Executive Vice President, South Interactive Avenues. With a round of applause, let's welcome her as well on stage. Mr. Govind Bansal, the Head Marketing and Growth, Shopsy, to please come forward. Please put your hands together, everyone. Mr. Madhur Gopal, the Associate Vice President, Marketing, Manipal Hospitals Group, to please come forward. Ms. Resha Jain, the Chief Brand Officer from GIVA, to please come forward. Ladies and gentlemen, request all of you to please put your hands together for all our panelists, please. Ms. Resha Jain, the Chief Brand Officer from GIVA.
Firstly, thank you, everyone. Thank you for being part of this session. I'm sure we're going to unlock a lot more insights for everyone sitting right here. So I would like to start with, I read some, so Sudhir Sitapati mentioned in his book, The CEO of Factory, that an insight is a contradiction that is obvious in hindsight. For him, insight is the soul of marketing. And starting from there, taking the cue, I would want to ask, and Aparna, I would want to start with you, what are your thoughts on insights and curiosity, and how pivotal they are in a brand's marketing efforts? And I also want to understand, how do you differentiate between data, information, and basically actionable insights?
Sure. Firstly, thank you for having me here. I think wonderful discussions, quite insightful. I loved Amit's presentation, quite inspiring. I have a lot of questions though, so I'm going to catch up with him. Let me take a step back and look at what is the role of brand marketing in today's day and age, right? In a world where consumers are spoiled for choice, in a world where there are no real differentiation between any product offerings, where the pricing is very competitive, how do you get your customers' attention, right? So the role of brand marketing in a way becomes mostly delivering experiences that Amit spoke about and meaningful experiences, right? So in that context, curiosity and insight, right? If I have to define curiosity and insight in that context, first comes curiosity to me, because why is the question behind everything when you talk to your customers, right? Why is my consumer not buying my product? Or why is my consumer buying your product and now stopped buying? Or why is he not buying more from me? Why is he buying from competition? So curiosity leads to discovery, and your insights actually turn that discovery into meaningful conversations, experiences, that a brand marketing delivers, right? So in this context, I think we all know data is rich today. We are in a day and age where there is a lot of information. There is, data which is really complex. It is confusing. How do you actually break down this data into insights that are meaningful for you, right? So that's the challenge I think every marketer, every agency face. If I have to, we all know it is very simple that data is just information. However, insight actually will equip us to, reach out to your consumers and understand what your consumers are doing, and therefore accordingly build your marketing strategies. So that's the simple definition. But having said that, it is really complex to understand, get to a sharp insight. I actually loved what Amit had mentioned about creating experiences, right? And storytelling, power of storytelling is actually something that is a big differentiator too. How are you reaching out to your consumers through the power of storytelling? And then he gave a lot of interesting examples. And if I have to give another example of how insight is even important in the power of storytelling, we did a very interesting campaign for one of our clients where they made a TVC with Shah Rukh Khan, right? And the entire idea was to the role of digital was to just distribute the TVC on many platforms. But then when we started looking at what consumers are talking about it, we happened to notice that consumers said the ad actually had Shah Rukh Khan in a salon painting nails to their customers who visited the salon and threading and everything else. And there was some conversation that we came across which spoke about how they would love to get this service done, right, by Shah Rukh Khan himself. So we actually created a very interesting version of the TVC where you can feature in that entire TVC itself through Gen AI that Amit spoke about, and that's why it was very relatable. And I think some 10 lakh plus versions of TVCs were created where many women actually featured with Shah Rukh Khan in an ad where they were actually getting salon services, with Shah Rukh Khan. So these are the kind of insights that really can also give, the power of storytelling that he spoke about. And I think these create a lot of experiences to consumers. So insight could be as simple as this, where we really didn't think that from a very small insight we would create a big campaign like this. So data is data. Insights like this can produce inspiring campaigns that Amit spoke about. Yeah. So to me, that's the difference between curiosity, and insights.
Got it. Govind, I want to extend this conversation to you, and I want to understand how Shopsy is leveraging this insight and what role it plays in your marketing strategy overall.
Thanks, Mrinil, for the question. First of all, very interesting execution of the Shah Rukh Khan campaign. I think definitely look it up.
Shah Rukh Khan has, I think, bows and all very cutely.
It's a very simple campaign, but like I said, stemming from a very small insight that somebody spoke about that I would love to feature in that ad.
Wow.
And then that actually became real. So yeah, the power of insight.
Sounds super interesting.
Yeah.
So before I deep dive into the question, right, let me give you a quick context about Shopsy. We are a hyper-value e-commerce platform. We're part of the larger Flipkart group, and we're a horizontal marketplace, right? And for the TG that we focus on is women who are very value conscious and largely from T2 cities and beyond. So as a practice, we talk to our consumers a lot. We have this continuously. We have this focus group discussion, one-on-one interviews, because that's most of the people working on the project may not be able to relate with their lives with the TG as much. So we try and have immersions as much as possible. And while talking, some very interesting things come up, right? Like we say, being a hyper value platform, we take pride in saying, what, 100 rupees mein hamare yahan kurti milegi. And you get a vegetable chopper for 50 rupees, and we often wonder, it's such a low risk thing. I mean, what's the big deal? Just come try us out, right? And we keep talking to them. Interesting things come up, like one lady basically came and told us that it's 50 rupees. But what will happen is, in case the product that comes is incorrect or it's bad, तो घर वाले सोचेंगे कि इसको तो shopping करनी नहीं आती, right? So that social validation that is so important for them, right? While 50 rupees may not be a big deal, right? But being the fear of going wrong and being called out for it becomes very important for them, right? So. So these small insights of social validation, and especially from people that they're closer to them, right? Like the family members, maybe their neighbors, they want to take pride in the decision that they're taking. So we try and inculcate that and use that insight in our campaigns. And we recently launched a campaign called the Shabash campaign, right? Where the entire fact is that I shopped from Shopsy and I got a Shabashi from the people that are around me. So it's very important, right? Because as a marketer, like a marketer or as a business lead, what you'll think, okay, there are only so many levers that will okay, you can do more marketing, more performance marketing, or maybe you'll end up reducing your price. You'll say, why are numbers not moving? So this trust and making sure that people, what they see is what they get, is very important for them, and it's important for us to build trust and not just other vectors. So overall, it's really helps going inside deeper into our customers.
Trust me, that's a very nice insight, because every time I know if I send something to my parents and that hits the right spot, what they needed is there, that link goes to 10 different people. So that becomes like okay, it's a validation that she approves, and if she approves, then it's going to the entire society. So that is a valid thing that happens, and I think
we'll try harder to get your approval. Continue doing that.
Madhur, I spoke to you earlier, and I remember you mentioned that educating customers is something which is a priority for you, because you just don't want to just sell your products, but you want to educate them. So how do you leverage insight when it comes to alongside like educating them, because at the end of this you have to make some decisions out of it?
Yeah, so, being a healthcare brand, when people go to hospital, I mean, let me touch, for a hospital, we deal with birthing till end of life care. So, it's a variety of, services what we have to offer. And the emotions are very different at each kind of service which we are offering. So, that makes little more challenging, when we go ahead and touch with the patients. To this, if you really see, most of the patient when they come to the hospital, they don't know anything about that procedure, right? And that makes things little more complicated, because when I go to buy any phone or any other product, I have done a lot of research, so I know exactly what to expect when I go to the showroom. In hospitals, it is very different, because when the patient goes there, they don't know what doctor is going to tell, and if they tell any procedure, then what to expect. Now patient is waiting there, and he was not knowing that this was part of the routine. So for a hospital, it's part of routine, but for that patient, it's first time, they have never experienced, and no one has really told them about that. So that's where I think we feel there's a lot of kind of gap in between what patients should know and what they actually know, right? So now, getting from that, insight, what we really want to do, and there are two parts. One is when the patients are exploring where to go. So there is some education required over there. And what we realized is that when patients are looking for, say, some hypothetical examples I am taking here, when patient has to go for an angioplasty, for example, right? How do they differentiate from one hospital to another? Today, it is not about surviving, post angioplasty. It is about the quality of life post that procedure, which is more important. But this patient may not know that at all. So that was the challenge for us, and for that, being a hospital brand, whatever I write on my website, people may or may not believe it, because as an industry, we face trust deficit, So there is a problem that most of the patient, they would feel, if I go there, they are going to squeeze my wallet completely. They'll find 10 different ways. So how do you really go ahead and educate this? So that's when we started going and talking to Practos and many other neutral aggregator platforms. Can you go ahead and educate these patients that what are things they should look when choosing the hospital for this particular thing, right? And that's how we started kind of building or trying to find out what are those neutral platforms where we can go ahead and educate these people so they can take the right decision. The idea is really to educate these people. One, to take the right decision. Second is to really, educate them what to expect from that particular service or a procedure where they are getting into. So I think that's where when I was discussing with you and thing came on Quora also. So that's where we thought that why not to explore Quora, because what we want is a neutral platform where people can actually go ahead and start believing that content, what is written over there. And as a brand, we don't really mean to sell anything there, but we believe that if you give the right education, right hand holding to the patient, majority of them should choose you as a brand over a period of time. But that's where I think this whole educational piece becomes very, very critical for us from the industry perspective also. So that's probably the context in which I was speaking to you.
Okay. So, Resha, I know that we also spoke about how different insights help you understand different phases of a consumer's journey. Can you throw some light on how it has helped you as a brand, as a marketer, to understand?
Sure. Actually, I mean, I think people have talked about it earlier, but everything in a marketer's journey or a brand's journey or a product's journey is actually based on insights. When you decide what product you're going to sell, initial market fit is based on insights that the consumers come up with. Suppose, let's take the example of what I'm currently doing, with GIVA. When we decided to sell silver, it was not an organized, nobody had organized this space before that. Tanishq had done it with gold a long time ago. But silver was an absolutely relatively new space. And what made us decide that silver could still work and have a chance with the audiences is that the audience was ready at this point in time, never before in the future. We put up new pictures every day on social media. We go to work every day. We need to change a lot of our jewelry. Silver is still a precious metal, So there's value related to that metal. You don't feel it's just something that you've picked up. You feel happy to pick it up, but it's not gold. So there's ease in owning it, because we are not living with our parents anymore. It's not locked in a locker, you don't keep wearing the same earring every day for years, which we used. I mean, I grew up doing that, but now you change it every time. So there is ease in ownership, there is ease in wearing, and there is a variety that you could own, unlike gold, and still have something which is precious, which you could pass on if you wanted to. That joy that is related to the purchase of jewelry in a precious metal could now be done in silver. This is a very major insight, right? And it led us to create India's biggest silver brand. The same thing, I mean, this is just the product journey. Then, of course, while we are selling the product, when we create marketing campaigns and our current, we've been talking about what the heart wants. It is based on the fact that jewelry is bought on the back of emotion. Yes. It is always bought on the back of joy. People justify their purchase saying it's an investment. It never is. If you really want to invest, you buy SIP or you buy gold coin or gold. You do not go and buy jewelry. But you do, because it's joy-based. So it really, truly resonates with what the heart wants. Gifting is a huge category. Now, this is when insights is everything in the whole funnel. I'm launching a brand based on insight. I'm selling the jewelry based on insight. I'm running my Facebook campaigns based on insight. Which audience reacts to what? North reacts different to South. Yeah. What kind of jewelry resonates with them? What are people talking about when they're asking for, say, there are many things, when I'm doing social media, it's based on insights. What kind of influencers I use is based on insights. How my content looks, what are the keywords that I'm trending for is based on insights. I don't think any part is untouched by insights. Yeah. Any good brand or any part of that journey is only as strong as your insights, truly.
Okay. Coming back to this, how an insight plays a different role when you're in different phase of a consumer's journey. I want to understand, anyone, if you would want to chime in, how do you ensure that they stay relevant and timely as well? Because basis the consumer insight that you get, there is high chances that because consumers' behavior is changing very quickly. So how do you stay relevant for that? And anything that you have to add to it, and how do you adapt to the changes in general?
Maybe if I can go first. There is no choice other than, being relevant, which means you'll have to constantly keep monitoring, right? You'll have to, listen to your customers. What are they talking? What are they behaving in terms of their conversations? You'll need to continuously monitor a lot of platforms. So monitoring, real-time monitoring, I think is something that which you cannot really, avoid if you want to know about, what your consumers are saying. So that's a big thing for me in terms of how do you really monitor what your consumers are doing. And if you look at the digital eco space itself, it is so fragmented. You have so many platforms, so many opportunities for you as a brand to actually, look at touch points and, what they're saying. You could look at social media, you could look at your search behavior, you could actually, look at many such, you could look at comments on a video that is posted by some user and understand what they're feeling. The example that I gave, it actually came from nothing, just one comment, and then somebody actually went and did a, brand intervention. Then we started getting so many more comments. We said, why not, right? So the only way to do this is to continuously monitor, right? Somebody out there, I think the most important job for a brand marketer is to have someone constantly sit out there and keep listening, watching, monitoring. I think your insights are, pretty much come from there. Also, we do have a lot of data. You have data analysts today who are analyzing data. To me, I think it is both quantitative and qualitative, right? While your data gives you a lot of insights in terms of, actually, when we were all catching up, I think we spoke about what insights are, because we were actually confused. What do we speak? Is it campaign insight? Is it a product insight? What is actually insight mean? And like she said, insights are across, right? So you will have a lot of insights through the funnel. You will have campaign insights. You will have which platform, what is the messaging that is resonating. If it's a top funnel, what is the kind of storytelling that I need to do? Or is it about more educational content? If it is consideration, then why is my consumer watching my ads but not even clicking or not converting? Then what is the kind of consideration messaging that I need to do? And there's no other way other than testing, right? You'll need to test, experiment. Test and learn is the only thing in this, current complex ecosystem that you will have to kind of do. And obviously doesn't need a lot of marketing budgets to keep testing. You'll need to test different messaging. You'll need to test different click to action. You'll need to test different destination pages. You'll need to test different communication on your landing pages. I think a lot of effort goes into all of this, and this is the only way, to me, you can stay relevant to your consumers and the insights that you can get, and you build your marketing strategies accordingly.
Got it. Madhur.
Yeah, so I'll talk more from healthcare perspective, and others mentioned that insights you have to capture at various places, but I'll just give few examples, right? So what we also do, we also capture whether through surveys or by talking to customers, or there are various ways. And this 2009 when we did a consumer voice study, and one of the thing which came out, it was surprised us as well. Being in healthcare for a pretty long time, we did not think patient will switch brand because of this particular thing. And the thing which came out was that when they used the washrooms, there were no tissue papers. So for a healthcare brand, tissue paper can lead to a brand change was something which is we could never think of, right? Because we always thought this is a serious medicine. So being relevant to them, I think it is definitely critical. In Manipal, we have a program, Manipal Patient Pulse. Every hospital, the senior leadership team, hospital director plus the functional heads, they have to talk to at least 6 to 8 patients in a month and gather insights. What is there we are missing out, what we can improve. Things comes out, what we are doing good as well. But I think, once these insights are helping us to improve our services, because the areas which as a brand we can never think of, we are getting to see from there, right? So, and a simple example, like, we have valet parking in almost all our hospitals, and one person came and said, boss, you guys don't have valet parking. We said, no, valet parking is there. He said, no, but I couldn't find. So the simple thing what we did was we put a board which was more prominent and people could see. That actually changed the experience of the people who were coming to the hospital, right? So this is one piece which is an ongoing kind of insight gathering process, and being in service industry, I think it can significantly elevate the consumer experience when they are coming to your hospital. However, the insights what we are looking as well now today, we are trying to explore platforms that patients, what are they expecting from hospitals. So many of the times we don't know what kind of discussions they are having. And these discussions are available today on platforms, out there. I think there should be a way that in space of, say, heart problems, or in space of ortho problems or delivery area, what is that consumer are looking at? And if there are those insights we can capture from there, which are more in a way easy or in an automized fashion, and we can then start building services based on the consumer behavior which is shifting out there, and we start building our services accordingly. It can be services, it can be touch points as well, because it's the same consumer who uses Amazon versus who uses app of a hospital. And because app is not a primary business for a hospital, experience will definitely be not great compared to what other apps are there out in the market. But the consumer is same, so his expectation from your app will be the same what is out there. Now that may or may not be there, but that insight is important. Is this consumer expecting the same thing from you as a brand or not? And if that expectation is there, then I think brands should very well spend that money to ensure that there is a stickiness from the customer to your brand, and then you kind of continue to serve them, because for us, any healthcare brand for that matter, word of mouth is the biggest driver to get patients. So, and we have seen in our Community Connect programs, and in Bangalore, because many of you will be in Bangalore, in some of the communities, people will say, boss, you go to Manipal only because their services are really good. And this word of mouth, almost around 60% patient, we see come because of the validation by someone else, So I think from that perspective, yes, you are right. Consumer behavior changes. The way it is evolving because of the technology piece, the expectations are changing. So if you see, old patient can wait for 30-40 minutes or 1 hour in the OPD. New kids cannot wait, and that is where they go ahead and tell their parents or their grandparents, "Boss, where are you going? Yeah, this is not a good place. Let's go to other hospital." And this is true. I mean, this is happening today. We see these kids influencing the behavior of their grandparents in choosing the brand because of the high wait time, right? So I think it is critical for us to see the changing behavior and then accordingly modify our offerings for our customers.
Got it. I can completely relate to what you're saying. As a patient, I've seen there's so many factors that we consider when we go to a hospital, and you won't believe a seating space for the attendant is also one of the factors that is considered. So coming back to our conversation, I would want to understand from Govind and Resha, how do you use platforms like Quora to leverage that insight, and how do you work on it? Govind, Resha, anyone?
Okay, so I'll take this first. Quora is used by us in multiple ways. Quora is a great platform to also understand what are the types of queries that people are coming up with, It is very nice to see very robust discussions and very nice questions come up, about, it could be about what brand is credible, it could be about whether, a particular kind of service that you're giving, like we give lifetime plating, So we see people question whether people have had a good experience, not a good experience. There are questions around, many silver attributes. There could be questions around lab grown. Now that we're doing lab grown, there are so many questions around lab grown. So there could be a lot of questions about people's behavior. There could be a lot of, we also use it, of course, to see what kind of SEO we should generate, what sort of content are people looking for, what sort of hand-holding do they require, what do they need from us to be able to convince them that it's a good choice that they're making when they buy with us. So Quora is used to actually gather a lot of insights into what are people really thinking about, what are the questions that they have, what will help them get convinced that we have what they need. There are also times that we've actually launched some services on the back of what people may be, wanting or complaining about. And that's really helped us, They want to understand, they want to test out the metal, they want to get a lot of plating services because the nature of the metal is that they will require plating services sometime or the other. So those kind of things we have taken from them. We once actually launched a whole line like that because enamel jewelry was only used in India in very traditional format. If you've seen, like, we've all worn that sort of stuff, but you get it a lot in Jaipur. What Indian design hote hain, motifs hote hain. But nobody was doing it in the modern format before that, in modern everyday jewelry. And we launched a whole line of enamel jewelry because of that, and it really is one of those successful lines that we launched. Based
I
on.
wanted to ask about that only. That did you get did you guys launch something after going through your Quora insights?
Quora would be a part of it, but yeah, insights have of course helped us launch a lot of things. I think when we were at Sugar, Vinita has gone on record to say this many times, right? That initially, because of that fab bag consumers asking for long-lasting lipstick, liquid lipstick, which wasn't in India, a whole new brand came up. Like, Sugar was launched on the back of matte lipsticks and liquid lipsticks, and it really made a big brand.
Govind, how did
Yeah, so we haven't actively used Quora so far, but listening to Resha and some of the other conversations here, I think we're definitely missing out because yeah, especially given I think for high involvement categories and categories where there's a lot of research involved, I think there's a lot of gold there. I've used it personally very often, but I think for brands, and especially our category teams. I think there are a lot of insights, right? Since a lot of insights that we could get from there. I would also love to understand a little bit more about how much of our TG is present there. That is something that I am unsure about, but definitely looks like we are under leveraging some really interesting stuff that's out there.
Mrinil, I would, if I can add, because we have used it, and as I was telling you earlier, that the trust deficit in the industry, so we wanted this neutral platform. What we tried doing was that, so one of the problem in healthcare industry performance ads is that whenever the patient is searching anything, say hypothetical example, I'll pick it up like TKR, total knee replacement. The ad will come to me for total knee replacement. However, in the patient journey, there is a possibility that when the patient go first time to a doctor and doctor advise a certain procedure, there is a denial mode. Patient is in denial, no, I don't want to do this, I want an alternate solution which can avoid this surgery. The problem is that hospital brand is going and saying, boss, come to me for surgery. Now the patient doesn't want surgery. And that's where this hand holding and educating the customer till he changes, because normally if you see there are 2-3 stages depending on the procedure. Like in onco, it is denial, anger, and acceptance. So when you are, patient is moving each stage, and the duration of each stage can change from, category to category. That is where I think, and that's when we were looking in each category basis on the patient, procedure or the service, what they are looking, what kind of platforms they are going to, and that's when this Quora came up. We said, why don't we engage with Quora and see how we can value add to these patients. Though we did as a kind of POC, but it actually helped. It actually started engaging with patients, providing the right education to them and then hand holding, which we were looking from multiple platform. I think Quora is one which comes out as more genuine, more neutral, because it's not a brand which is kind of talking to patient, it is people who are talking to people. So from that perspective, for a category like us, it is really helping us out. In fact, we were discussing internally, how do we really now grow on this? Because I would say we have done initial phases, but at a very small scale. The initial results are good. I mean, for a category like us, where you need to build trust, where you need to educate people in a more neutral, from a neutral perspective, I think platforms should really help significantly.
Aparna, do you have anything to add to how brands leverage?
No, I think pretty much everything is covered. Like I said, while a lot of brands use Quora for advertising, like I think one of our clients, Salesforce, we use your platform extensively to reach out to small businesses. But like I think Madhur was mentioning, Quora, I personally use Quora a lot, right, to talk to people and get yeah, as a user. So I feel, I also feel you should leverage the platform more and have more opportunities for advertisers, right, to also, unlock the platform more, because I think it's a very impactful platform to gather a lot of insights about what consumers are actually talking. And yeah, so I mean, I think I'm very I'm looking forward to seeing more solutions from Quora as well. I think it's a very interesting platform.
Great. If you have one line and you have to sum up your last thoughts on this topic, what would that be?
For me, I was just staring at that topic, unlocking the power of insights and curiosity, right? Insights is given. I don't think, marketeers in this room, devise strategies without insight, right? Like Resha has mentioned, insight is in your product, insight is in your marketing campaign, insight is in everything. But to me, what's more important is curiosity. I think Ankit's presentation, I think, left quite an impression on me. And when I look at storytelling, I feel curiosity leads to a lot of meaningful experiences that you can give to your consumers, and that's where your differentiation comes, right? So constantly looking at why, what, therefore, what do I do? And insight obviously comes from that why. I think curiosity plays a more important role, to me, and then insight leads to that. So I feel, you need to constantly keep asking why, and I think that leads to some great insights and some great memorable campaigns for your consumers to remember. So that's what I think.
Thanks, Aparna. Govind.
Just picking up from what just Aparna said, right? Understanding an insight at a surface level doesn't help.
Yeah.
Right, you need to go deeper. Like I just said, that trust is a big problem for us, but it's also a very ambiguous problem, right? How do you solve for that? Or can I make it very easy for people to return the products? Can I put a trust mark on saying that, it's Shopsy verified, Flipkart verified? There could so many things, right? But when you keep talking to customers, we said, okay, I like ratings, I like reviews, but we kept going deeper. What really got people excited and gave them that confidence to purchase is seeing other people's pictures of sporting that outfit that they're browsing on e-commerce. Because it's not a model basically, who's always probably everything look good on that particular model, but there's another person who I can relate to who's actually sporting that outfit and it seems like genuine. Right, so it's social proof, but at a very surface level, at an overall level. But that's nuanced understanding of going wow, why, and going deeper. That's very important. So, and that's what brings into doing something that's actionable, and finally material.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, so to me, I think based on this conversation as well, I would say that insights everyone use, all the marketers use, but might be limited, for say large campaigns, or because of the time it consumes, you really can't scale up to the larger usage. And given today's world, the kind of content which is available out today, you have GMB reviews, you have people writing on Quora, you have so many platforms where qualitative information is sitting about your brand or the categories which you are looking at. I think we should move in a world where we can scale up somehow analyzing this qualitative feedback and then mass scale the power of insights, which can be used in day-to-day campaigns or day-to-day service modifications. And I think that should be the way forward if we are really looking the power of insights. Because I feel that still, though we use insights, but it's more on a quantitative still, you've launched a campaign, numbers are there, you do some analysis, or a qualitative, which is more consumer research studies kind of thing. There should be, way forward where we can qualitative study itself can be, scalable to large extent. I think that's where platforms can come up. Because Quora is here, so say Quora come back and say, boss, on your brand or on your category, this is what I can give you. Today, no one has, say for example, we don't have a, if I have to say any particular procedure city in India, people go for their Cosmo procedures to say, Korea. Can we make Goa, because there is a demand out there, because people are discussing about this. There are some privacy which people want to maintain. Now, if that insight comes, that can create a business for any brand. That's a vertical which can be created, I think. But that qualitative insight, mass scalability is a possible, potential in future is what I feel.
Thank you, Madhur. Resha, your last thoughts.
Well, if it has to be one line, I should just say +1 to everything that has been said. Yeah. Well, actually, honestly, to keep it really simple, I think what is effective about insights or curiosity, either one of them, is reading between the line and interpreting behavior patterns. It's very important for a good marketer to do that. It's very important for anybody who's effectively wants to do something scalable and something that works, to look at these two, because we are very good at fooling ourselves and others in trying to say that this is what I like doing, but it may be very different from what I do. And I think that's for every human being. So I think insights and curiosity should be about what behavior tells us and how do we read between the lines.
Thank you so much. Thank you all of you. It was a wonderful session. I enjoyed, and from our pre-chat to now, I think we all have discussed almost every aspect of insights and curiosity. So I hope it was a great session for the audience as well.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, everyone. Please come together for a group photograph. Ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it out one more time for all the panelists for that amazing session on unlocking the power of insights and curiosity. Thank you, Ms. Mrinil. Thank you, Ms. Aparna. Thank you, Mr. Govind, Mr. Madhu. Thank you. And Ms. Resha, thanks a lot.